Picture this, you're 17 years old, weighing barely 60 kilograms, stepping onto the pitch against grown men who've been playing professional football for years. Most players would hide, play it safe, pass the ball quickly, and pray they don't get embarrassed. But instead, Neymar decides to nutmeg the opposition, flick the ball over players, and celebrate like he owned the stadium. That's not talent. That's a completely different operating system running in his brain. While other technically gifted players crumble when the stakes get real, Neymar gets more creative, more audacious, more confident. What mental software is he running that you're not? By the end of this video, you'll have the exact psychological framework that separates confident players from talented players who never make it. Let me introduce you to the blueprint method, understanding how greatness is constructed by examining the building blocks that most people never see. Before Neymar became the showboat superstar, he was just another skinny kid from Brazil who had to earn his place through pure mental strength. He started with street football and futsal in São Vicente before joining Santos Youth Academy at 11. But he wasn't just playing with kids his own age having fun. He was constantly playing against much older, physically stronger players in the neighborhood court. In these environments, he learned how to use skill and creativity to overcome physical disadvantages, develop incredible close control under pressure, and build mental toughness when nobody's going to protect you. The streets taught him to be fearless. No referees, no sympathy for being young or small, no participation trophies. You either figured out how to survive through skill, or you got humiliated. Santos refined his raw talent, but that warrior mentality was forged on those concrete courts where mercy didn't exist. By 16, he was making his mark in the Copa São Paulo against older, more experienced youth players. But the confidence came from years of proving himself where the stakes felt life or death. This pattern shows up everywhere. Ronaldinho, Kaká, Robinho, even Pelé. They all learned to impose their will through skill when size wasn't on their side. When you've survived the toughest testing ground, everything else feels manageable. Here's what most players get completely wrong. They think confidence is built in isolation, practicing skills alone until they feel ready to compete. But football confidence isn't built through individual drills. It's forged through battle. Solo training builds technique, muscle memory, and coordination. But confidence? That only comes from proving yourself against live opponents who are actively trying to stop you, hurt you, and make you look stupid. Think about Neymar's Santos Academy days. He wasn't just the golden boy everyone protected. He was constantly tested against players who wanted to prove they were better than this overhyped kid who got all the attention. Every training session was a war. Every scrimmage was an opportunity for someone to humble him. And instead of breaking his confidence, this constant pressure made him stronger. Real opponents teach you things no cone drill ever could. How to handle aggressive defending when someone's literally trying to kick you off the ball. How to stay calm when things get physical and the referee isn't calling everything. How to find creative solutions when your first option doesn't work and you're running out of space. Most importantly, real competition teaches you how to bounce back when you get tackled hard, when your skill doesn't work, when you make a mistake in front of people who want you to fail. This is why so many technically gifted players never make it. They can juggle a ball 1,000 times, they can hit perfect passes against cones, but the moment they face real pressure from real opponents, they crumble. If you want to build battle-tested confidence like Neymar, you need to actively seek harder challenges. Stop avoiding competitive situations. Join pickup games where you don't know anyone. Accept invitations to play with better, older players. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations where you have to prove yourself. Because here's the truth. Every comfort zone you stay in is a confidence opportunity you're missing. Let me paint you a picture that changes everything about how you view mistakes. In Neymar's early professional matches at Santos, he would often get dispossessed 6, 7, or even up to 10 times in a single game, maybe even more. Defenders would tackle him hard, crowd him, do everything possible to frustrate his style of play. But here's what separated him from everyone else. He never stopped trying his signature moves and dribbles. After getting tackled for the 5th time, most players start second-guessing themselves. They start playing it safe, passing backwards, avoiding the situations that got them in trouble. Not Neymar. He had what I call selective memory in the moment. Champions remember the successes and forget the failures when it matters. Every time he touched the ball, it was like the previous mistakes never happened. This isn't natural. This is trained. Most players get trapped in their heads after one failed dribble. Suddenly they're passing sideways, playing it safe, hiding from the ball, trying not to make another mistake instead of trying to create something special. But Neymar operated with a completely different mindset. Every touch is a new opportunity. Every dribble attempt is independent of the last one. The scoreboard might say you've lost the ball 6 times, but in your mind, you're always at 0 failures, infinite possibilities. Now here's the psychological reality most players never understand. Your fear of failure doesn't come from football. It comes from childhood programming. Somewhere in your past, you learned that making mistakes meant judgment, disappointment, or rejection. Maybe a coach yelled at you when you tried a skill and lost the ball. Maybe teammates laughed when you missed an easy chance. Maybe a parent made a face that told you trying and failing was worse than not trying at all. Your subconscious brain took that information and created a survival mechanism. Avoid situations where you might fail, because failure threatens your social acceptance, and social rejection feels like death. But champions like Neymar found a way to override that programming. They trained their minds to separate performance mistakes from personal worth. A failed dribble doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you're gathering information about what works and what doesn't. Here's something nobody talks about that completely changed how I understand confidence. Neymar doesn't just handle pressure, he actively seeks it. Think about his biggest moments: World Cup at 22, Champions League games against the biggest clubs in the world, El Clásicos, where the entire world is watching. He doesn't just perform in these situations, he puts on a show. He becomes more creative, more audacious, more willing to try things that could either make him look like a genius or completely embarrass him. This isn't natural. Most humans have a biological fear of being watched and judged. Psychologists call it the spotlight effect. We assume everyone is watching and critiquing our every move. But Neymar learned to flip this fear into fuel through what I call the spotlight principle. Make the spotlight your stage, not your interrogation room. Here's the difference. Stage mindset says, everyone's watching me perform something amazing. Interrogation mindset says, everyone's watching me potentially mess up. Same situation, completely different mental framework, totally different result. Neymar built this by starting with small audiences, family, friends at the local courts, and gradually increasing the stake. But more importantly, he learned to see attention as energy he could absorb and convert into better performance. When 80,000 people are screaming, most players feel that as pressure. Neymar feels it as electricity he can channel into his game. Here's your action step. Next time you play, instead of trying to hide from attention, actively seek moments where people will watch you. Take the corner kicks, demand the ball in tight spaces, volunteer for the pressure situation. Train your brain to associate attention with opportunity, not threat, because the spotlight isn't there to expose your weaknesses, it's there to illuminate your greatness. Alright, now I'm going to give you the practical framework for actually building this mindset. Understanding the psychology is one thing. Implementing it is what separates viewers from players. First step, recognition. After each training session or match, identify the exact moment you started playing scared. What triggered it? Was it a bad touch? A missed pass? Someone shouting instructions? Find the pattern, because you can't fix what you don't acknowledge. Second step, reframe. Start viewing failed attempts as data collection, not personal failures. When you lose the ball trying a skill, don't think, I'm not good enough. Think, that defender reacts quickly to my left foot fake. Let me try going right next time. Same outcome, completely different meaning. Third step, reset protocol. Every time you lose the ball or miss a skill, create a mental reset. It could be clapping your hands once, taking a deep breath, whatever feels right for you. Then immediately position yourself to receive the ball again. This trains your brain that mistakes don't define you. They're just temporary events. Fourth step, progressive exposure. Start with low pressure environments and gradually increase the stakes. Master your confidence in training, then friendly matches, then competitive games, then high stakes situations. Don't jump straight into the deep end. Build your tolerance systematically. The goal isn't to eliminate fear. It's to train your nervous system to stay calm and creative under pressure. Just like in those early futsal games, where Neymar learned that pressure is just another opponent you can beat with the right mindset. Now let me share with you the most powerful technique that almost nobody talks about, but every top performer uses whether they realize it or not. Your everyday personality, the version of you that worries about school, social media likes, what people think of your outfit, that person isn't designed for the football battlefield. Think about it. The version of you that sits quietly in class, follows rules, tries not to cause trouble. That personality is built for social harmony, not for nutmegging defenders and celebrating like you own the stadium. That's why top performers create what I call a game mode persona, completely separate from their regular self. Neymar is a perfect example of this. While he's naturally confident and expressive off the pitch, on the field he amplifies this into something completely different. A showboat who nutmegs defenders for fun, celebrates every skill like it's an art form, and plays with this unshakable belief that says, "I'm the most entertaining player on this pitch." This isn't fake, it's strategic compartmentalization. Here's how to build your own football persona in 5 steps. Step 1. Define the arena. Where does this version of you exist? During matches, training sessions, even certain drills? Pick your battlefield and be specific. Step 2. Character traits. What does confident you look like in detail? Does he walk differently onto the pitch? Talk to teammates with more authority? Take on defenders without hesitation? Make this vivid and emotionally connected. Step 3. Visual anchor. Create a mental image that represents this energy. It could be an animal, a jaguar stalking prey, a wolf leading the pack. It could be a movie character or an idealized version of yourself, something that when you picture it, you feel that confidence energy. Step 4. Activation ritual. Find a physical trigger that switches you into this mode. It could be adjusting your socks a certain way, touching the ball 3 times before you start playing, tapping your chest twice, something that when you do it, your body knows it's time, he's here. Step 5. Permission to perform. This is crucial. Your football persona has permission to be cocky, to showboat, to take risks that normal you would never dare attempt. He has permission to celebrate skills, to try impossible passes, to play like he's the best player on the field even when he's not. Here's the key. When the game ends, you consciously switch back to regular you. You leave that version of yourself on the field and go back to being the thoughtful, respectful person you are off the pitch. This protects your emotional stability while unleashing your football potential. You're not pretending. You're not faking anything. You're giving permission to a side of you that has always been inside but has been buried by social conditioning, fear, and the need to fit in. But here's the thing. Understanding these concepts intellectually is only 10% of the battle. The other 90% is having a systematic approach to implement them consistently. That's exactly why I created the Athlete Mentality Framework. It's the complete psychological training system that takes everything we just discussed and gives you a step-by-step roadmap to build unshakable confidence. Inside, you'll get the exact daily mental training routines used by professional athletes, pressure simulation exercises that prepare you for any situation, confidence-building protocols for before, during, and after matches. Plus, you'll get 3 bonus ebooks: the Complete Position Mastery Guide, the Footballer Speed Blueprint, and the Complete Nutrition and Recovery Guide. If you're serious about transforming your mental game and finally playing with the confidence your skills deserve, check the link in the description below. But remember this. Every day you delay working on your psychology is another day that talented players with weaker mentalities are getting ahead of you, simply because they're willing to do the mental work. Don't let that be your story. The framework is there. The roadmap is clear. The only question is, are you ready to become the confident version of yourself that's been waiting to break free? So most importantly, enjoy the beautiful game.